Everybody's time. There we go. This is the September 25th, or I'm sorry, 22nd, 2025 meeting of the advisory committee. For those that have not had a chance to meet me yet, I think I've met most of you in the room, but I am Jeremy Hypes. I'm the new executive director here at Columbia County 911. We don't have Sheriff Pixley here today, and it sounds like Will is also doesn't appear to be here today, so. On in.
Sorry, guys.
So we're gonna kind of be shooting from the hip. This is my first time running this meeting, so bear with me. Mary Jo may yell at me or ring me in every so often to try to make sure I'm following my steps, but
Not a yeller.
No,
just to me.
you think that just.
All right, so I guess we'll go ahead and oh, you have a copy of the agenda?
Oh. Let me go grab.
So we're gonna need to go ahead and approve the minutes from the April 29th of 2025 meeting. Hope everybody's had a chance to review those minutes. Once we get everybody situated, we'll go ahead and wait for somebody to make first motion of approval of the minutes. Like to move to accept the minutes. Thank you, Chief, from our previous meeting. I don't have the date in front of me, but it's April something. April 29th. Thank you.
I second it.
Thank you. Go ahead and have a motion, the minutes are approved. We needed. And can we have a vote, on the approval of the minutes? And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, say nay. All right. Generally at this meeting, we should be calling for the election advisory committee positions. And appointing the alternates for that. Do we want to do that even though we don't have?
Well, because it's the new fiscal year, we need to have nominations for the chair and a co-chair. So.
Anybody want to make a nomination for the chair? Or should anybody want to be thrown under the bus to be the chair?
Corey, yeah. I'm gonna Corey.
Eric Smythe. Second. All right, I guess we have a first and a second for Eric. Anybody else? All right.
Now you can turn the meeting over to Chief Smythe.
Oh, fantastic. Is there an alternate? Because what if I have to leave?
Yes, we do.
That is true. We do need to look for an alternate. Any nominations for the the alternative for co-chair?
Chief Llewellyn, Scappoose.
I'm not a voting member of the board, though.
You're not?
Not. I live in Lake O, so.
I thought we got fixed.
So the board at the last board meeting has reinstated all the agency heads as the advisory committee representatives. But if you choose not to want to do that, that's your choice.
I have no problem participating, especially I got a nomination for firefighter partners here.
Yeah.
All right. And so Chief Llewellyn is got a nomination. Anybody else? All right.
Take the vote, but I'm sure it'd be a little awkward if nobody.
That's perfectly okay, by the way. Not gonna hurt my feelings.
So we'll go ahead and call for the vote for Eric Smythe as chair. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. All right. Chief Smythe is now going to be the chair, and we'll have the co-chair, Chief Llewellyn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, no opposed. All right, so I guess we have our nominations for chairing, co-chair.
Do you need an agenda?
I do need an agenda. Okay, did that. So district up, I guess the next on our agenda is district updates, operational report, Danelle.
Just one moment. Sorry, no, point of order, sorry, I did that wrong. I'm not used to doing that. I just, on the table, there was the list of advisory committee appointments. I just want to make sure I have all the updated information. Is who is listed correct? Or do you want me to make changes and I'll do that? So you can just email me and let me know if you have a different secondary. That's all that appointment of official was.
Thank you, Mary Jo.
Yeah, sorry.
Now we're to that.
No problem.
So update since the last time the advisory committee met, we are still budgeted for 17 positions and we currently have 11 and a half, which because one of them is a part-time. That includes 9 full-time, 1 part-time, 2 leads and 2 in training. Both of our trainees are doing really well. They're actually at the academy finishing up and they graduate this Friday. Our new rolling recruitment, which was quite a bit of work the first month that we did it, but we learned a lot and it is underway and going well. So we got 23 applicants in July and made 5 job offers from those applicants in August. And this month we're processing 11 applications that we received in August and we're receiving applications in September to process in October. And so what I always ask here is spread the word. We are always hiring. So this new rolling recruitment means that we're never closed. This is open full-time for both entry and lateral. And we do love laterals. So if you have any dispatch centers that you've worked for or with in the past, feel free to steal them for me. We stole an executive.
So no shame in our game.
Absolutely. So both of our lead dispatchers have been receiving extra. Rich completed supervisor academy and Bree is in the middle. So they go for a week, come home for a month and go for a week. So she's got her second week in October. We finished our all staff training in April and May with collaboration from user groups and it was very successful. Sadly, we are canceling our October fall training due to staffing issues. Just to reassure everyone, all of our staff are in compliance with all of the different certifications that they have, and we're on track to meet all of our deadlines by the end of the year. Our community engagement, our new initiative that Kirby's been working on, the Inside 911 behind the call videos. She's still working on those, and we did have a newsletter that was completed and sent out. One of our newer hires, a little over a year, Madison finished her CTO training. So we now have 6 full-time trainers. And then our 2 leads actually count as 1. So that's 7 out of the 12 that we have full-time, all hands on deck involved in training. Our annual staff and awards, we got together. If any of you run into Merckx, please congratulate him. He is our employee of the year. And Jeremy and I, Kirby, and one of our leads, Rich, are going to be heading down to the annual fall training and awards banquet for the state for 911 for APCO NENA. And I'm not announcing the name today, but it is a very prestigious thing. And we do have an award recipient that I'll be announcing at the board meeting later this week. So it's a really big deal. And we are continuing to work on policies and SOGs. And I got my first email today from ODOT about winter planning. So we're getting ready to shift gears from hot to cold. Please reach out if you guys have any operational questions, needs, anything. I know a lot happened over the weekend and I'm working my way through some of the events. I think I need to follow up with you on a conversation. Maybe hazmat. So, okay. Yep. So I'm available. Any questions for me now? Thank you.
Thank you, Janelle. Equipment and technology briefing, Nathan.
So I'm going through the old minutes. I'm looking at the net motion line item. So We haven't really heard any feedback from the user agencies telling us we cannot move forward with you guys dropping that motion. Sounds like some of the agencies have come up with a solution. Police Scappoose has their own net motion server now. The Columbia City is using an open source product. And I believe Rainier is working on a solution. Is there any feedback? Because right now we're slated to be turning that machine off in May.
Can you refresh everyone's memory what NetMotion does?
Yes, NetMotion is how you connect your MDT to CAD. So it doesn't really affect you guys. But some of the agencies, I mean, mainly police and a little bit of fire are going to be impacted by this if they don't have a solution in place or collaborate with another user agency to put something in place. And the reason we're dropping support is we've been taking the brunt of the cost of this service. We charge the user license back to you, but the hardware maintenance we've been just absorbing. And with the loss of our levy, it's a pretty big expense for us to continue maintaining that portion of the system. So whatever we can shed, we're trying to shed right now. Is there any questions on that?
Have you followed up with contacting the police and fire agencies that will be directly affected?
We are going to be contacting you guys again after this meeting. We just wanted to bring it up in this meeting and kind of refresh your memory too on it. So if you guys need any help or need any pointers, I believe the last email Merck sent out about NetMotion had some pointers and what you could be doing to prepare, but it is coming around the corner here soon. Moving on, the roof. It still needs repair. We signed a contract with Washington Roofing. We are, right now, they are ordering parts and supplies to start replacing the roof. We are doing a full roof replacement. That way we can get the warranty. If we just did a repair, we wouldn't get any kind of warranty with that. CAD, we are upgrading CAD. We are going from version 23, and the way versioning works is 23 was 2023. We're going to version 25, so 2025.5. And that's going to be bringing a lot of changes. One big change is that there is going to be a full working MDT on the iPhone. I haven't tested it yet, but from all the demos, it looks pretty dang slick. FieldOps got a major update that's making it run a lot faster. So I'm hoping their track record stays on track for their Mobile X product on mobile. Will also be bringing a new user interface to your MDCs and a new way of installing it. So we're going to have to go around and show all the user agencies how to install it. So we're going to be going live in right now, May 2026. So right now that's programming, testing, and then training. So we're going to be coming up with training material for you guys so that it can be somewhat seamless, because right now it's going to be a major overhaul of what you guys see and use. So hopefully make that a little bit smoother. Is there any questions on that?
Do you need any beta testers for the field ops side of things?
FieldOps is already rolled out. So that's the product we already have. The Mobile X, their naming gets a little weird. So Mobile X is agnostic. It runs on Windows, iOS, Android. I think they're even coming to CarPlay, and I think they're hoping to come to Mac soon too. We don't have access to it. So the one part I don't like about it compared to FieldOps is FieldOps ran through AWS, Amazon Web Services. So you didn't have to have a connection to here. Mobile X, our understanding right now is that it has to have a VPN on the device. And I know that especially iPhones and Apple products, maintaining a stable VPN can be a little bit difficult. So yeah, I mean, if you want to test it, the desktop program, yeah, the pricing is not going to change, which is free for you guys right now. But I believe it's like $200 and some per user or per device. I have to go back and look at my notes. Per year for the mobile version of it. So it is a step up from FieldOps, which is about $140 a year.
And just to be clear, the Mobile X is going to be more stable than field ops, because we found a couple of instability issues with field ops.
Yeah, so when they go to compile their code, it compiles for Windows, it compiles for the Android app, so they should be running the exact same code.
Okay.
So, or Apple, I mean. So hopefully when we fix a bug on the desktop, it also comes back to iOS. We don't control the updates for that through like the App Store, but we can push up like form fixes and stuff to that app. And I believe you can add like map layers. You can do that on Field Ops too. So if you wanted to add a hydrants layer that you have, you could add that in.
We can talk more offline, but
Yeah.
thank you for explaining it for the group.
Yeah. Any other questions on that? I know it's a lot, and it's gonna be a lot come May. It's gonna, not just for you guys, but our dispatchers are gonna be getting a lot of updates because we are jumping basically 2 major versions of CAD. The other part of the facility is we are redoing the siding, so part of the gutters and everything, we realized that there's a lot of leaks in this building, so we're just having somebody come out, seal the building, caulk it, and paint it to hopefully prevent anything else. I'm kind of jumping around here because I got my old notes, my new notes. Radio system, we've been meeting with Day Wireless. Jeremy might touch on this too a little bit, so I won't go too in depth. For my side, I've been working on a radio reporting system so that we can start giving it to Day Wireless and looking at what problem areas. So if you're on Columbia and Sykes, the corner there, if you have just a dead zone, you can go and say, I'm at Columbia and Sykes. I have a Tate radio, I have a Motorola radio, and a couple other things that help us debug and go back and see what's causing that issue there. That's about it. The only other thing I have is Vesta phones. So we have some command posts now, so we can actually take 911 calls outside of our facility now. So if we wanted to come to one of your stations, if we had to evacuate, we could bring just these laptops and sit down and take 911 calls.
A question about if you have to evacuate here. WACA, are they considered a backup dispatch center?
Yes, so right now,
Aside from being able to transmit on radio,
yeah, so we have to call the CenturyLink NOC. We say, this is Columbia 911, we're in condition 3. They know what condition 3 is on their side. They flip a switch, all of our calls get routed to them automatically. Then WACA has been doing some testing. They can hit our radio system here and propagate through it. So they can broadcast and receive from our radio system through their own kind of workaround. Yeah.
when that change?
Well, they can see this tower here. So as long as this tower is working, they can get through our system.
How's that electrical panel work? Kirby and I were there in person. We're able to, like, for the first time, hands-on, kind of see it as a dispatcher sitting in their center. It's limited, but it is possible.
So because we're a simulcast system, because they can hit this tower will then repeat the signal throughout the whole system. And then
Right.
they can hear it when it's transmitted from this tower.
For the fire folks in the room, the reason why I asked that question is several of us are getting ready for ISO recertification. And one of the things that has dinged us for many, many years is not having a backup dispatch. You will get a lot of points for having a backup dispatch where you weren't able to qualify for those points before. So for those of you that are at a ISO class 5 and you're trying to go to a 4 or, even lower, that'll be huge because that's just going to lower insurance rates for everybody in your communities, in theory.
So we don't have like a TrueLink, just be very, very clear. We don't have a ISSI or a console version of that connection to WACA. So it is just over the air. This tower has to be up for that to work.
Right. But I mean, long story short, all the run cards are duplicated at WACA. Right. So like,
Yes, so the way that the shared CAD system works, I think I know exactly where you're going. So when, like, this example of Kirby and I being there is a perfect example because it was real life. We went there, we logged in. We each, as a dispatcher, have our own saved profile for, like, it's more aesthetics of where things go on the CAD screen. So we were able to keep our profile, drive over to WACA. The whole time that electrical panel work was being done, we were already logged in and monitoring radio traffic from Columbia County and could see all, but yes, we could.
the ISO guys, they're not going to care about that much detail, but that's
But,
awesome.
okay, great.
No, it's a checkbox.
Form or questions that you guys need answered related to that, I can definitely answer about what the capabilities are.
And their consoles are programmed with our channel. So if you ever need to prove it, just call WAC and say, hey, can you come up on F1 or F2? Do a test for a second.
There's a section in the ISO grading that you guys would have, we could fill out for you, but there are some questions in there that would.
I'm more than happy to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it helps us just make sure that we're not. I just find a lot of value in seeing someone else's checklist. And then we see if we missed something. I mean, he's got phones that can walk out the door. We've got a CAD system that can walk into 3 other dispatch centers. And now we know we've got some limited radio at another dispatch center. So we're working on it. It's a big deal for us too. 'Cause we've got roof problems.
We won't tell ISO that.
That's the part you leave out.
Anything else, Nathan?
No, sorry.
Okay, thank you, Nathan.
If I can real quick, has our system solution for net motion has been okay with you guys too as well?
I didn't even know you had it up. It's been running so smoothly that we didn't even notice. Well, I didn't notice. Merck said, because I went in there this morning before I came to this meeting, I said,
Right.
hey, what's the status or anything you don't know? He said, I think Scappoose has gotten that motion. It's just been running really well. So unless there's an issue on your side.
No, not that one. Well, some stuff for taking. No, it's good.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other question for Nathan? Okay, director's report?
All right, so, well, the radio system, we'll start with that because that's a big one that everybody's got questions about. I have had several collaborative meetings with stakeholders in the last few weeks, trying to get their ideas, see what they see as priorities. When you look at the priorities list, everything's a priority. Everything's so outdated. We have a lot of work out of us. That being said, with a limited amount of money coming to my budget to that I can go to the directors and ask for, I'm trying to find the biggest bang with the buck with the most payout for the users. So the two ideas we've had is we reached out to Day Wireless. Day Wireless is like, well, let's update the base radios at each of the towers. They're 20 plus years old. And it should increase some output from the sites. It's hard to know exactly how much of a bang we're going to get for those dollar amount. We're talking to replace all the links on L1 is roughly $300,000. So we talked about going and asking for 6, replace all of L1, F1 or F2. So links at the radios at the sites. The issue we run into there is we don't really know what kind of a bang of a buck we're going to get out of that, and that's a lot of money. So that is definitely one of the options on the table. Other options were brought to me. I actually had a meeting with one of the board members one of the directors who suggested that we aim at the individual antennas. We can do antennas, 1 tower or 2 towers, try them out, see if we're getting that bang for the buck that we're looking for before we spend extra money on more of those. Theoretically speaking, those are 20 plus years old as well. That limits your output and input receiving capabilities. So by replacing those, you increase your output and your input. Those are probably going to be cheaper, and those are a little more, I could say we could probably see an immediate difference in our radio communications by replacing a antenna on a site and try it out before we spend a bunch of money. Right now, I'm kind of leaning towards that direction as being the best route to go. Nathan and I are both reaching out, trying to get different quotes to see what we can get for what price tag, so we could try to make as much movement as humanly possible as soon as possible in updating those sites. We're supposed to have some quotes from Day Wireless middle of next week. This conference that I'm going to, there'll be lots of vendors there that I'm going to start tapping shoulders and say, how soon can you get me a quote? Because I'm looking at buying equipment as soon as humanly possible. I'm hoping that maybe if we can show that we're interested in spending money quickly, we can get some quicker quotes back. But right now, the biggest bang for the buck is certainly what we're looking at. And there is a ton of information from a ton of different radio propagation reports and studies. Everybody's got a lot of opinions, and it's trying to weigh out that information and make sure that I can show you guys that we're making an advancement while spending money without blowing money and wasting it on something you guys aren't going to get a benefit out of. So as of for right now, again, we're waiting on quotes. I'm hoping to have them as many as I can by the directors meeting this next week. Worst case scenario, we should have quotes and be able to ask for the money that following meeting and start spending as soon as my directors approve it. And I do believe we do have a pretty good flavor, or a taste for spending some money from our directors. It's just a matter of how much we can afford to spend in the position we're in right now. So any questions about that?
So I wanted to clarify. So
Yeah.
you're talking about the base radios at the towers.
Correct, at the tower.
And then you doing one or two, how many antennas would you be looking, if you had to replace all of them, how many antennas would that be?
Nathan, can you think off the top of your head of what that would look like? You have,
Double dozen?
yeah,
Yeah,
So
so
if you do one or two, I would say if you saw an increase in, radio, transmission signal strength.
so what we're doing right now is we're looking at replacing base stations at all of our sites for L1 and F1. We were gonna do like L5 or, a less used channel, but we want to be as forward facing and hope for the best with these base station updates because we're gonna go away from our T1 lines and just go over our microwave system for them. So if for some reason there's an issue with L1, you got L2 to fall back to. F1, you got F2 to fall back to if there is some major issue that we just cannot live with. And then we're also in parallel running Hydra simulation. It's top of the line Motorola simulation software, takes into account the buildings in your county, the terrain in your county, just the noise in the air in your county. And so we're going to look at how does our antenna propagation compare to that Hydra? So we can see that, say, Scappoose, their propagation is showing that it should be propagating like this through your city. It's not propagating. And we know just from user experience that it's not propagating well in Scappoose. So Scappoose is probably going to be one of the first cities we look at replacing those antennas or start. How do we adjust them? Because there's some interesting setups with those antennas that needs to be addressed. And not only does Hydra say this is what it should look like, but this is what you should do instead. So it will tell you where on your tower to have an antenna, what kind of antenna, what way it should be pointing, the gain of that antenna. And so in theory, we should be able to tell you the exact product you need and offer about $1,000 of reporting software.
Any other questions?
Question for you, Jeremy, about replacing all of the base radios. I get that they're 20 years old, but if we have limited funds, if the radios themselves are testing and PMing just fine.
Right.
Wouldn't it make more sense to replace them over time or have a backup on a shelf somewhere? So we're not spending everything. all at
right, no,
once,
absolutely.
but we're saving the dollars so that when you're replacing an antenna site, you're like, whoa, we just got an extra 10 miles of transmission. Let's go all in on antennas. We didn't blow the whole wad on replacing.
And that's why we're looking at the quotes on both sides. I want to be able to say, we've looked at different options. This is the option that seems to give us the biggest bang for the buck, and this is how much it's going to cost us. And I do like the idea of, instead of spending the $300,000 to go out and replace all those base stations at a site or at all the sites to make sure it's all working. It makes a lot of sense just to throw a new antenna on a site and see what kind of production we get out of that. If it's great, then yeah, having the money to go all in on that project makes a lot of sense. So even if the board is to approve enough money for me to say replace all the antennas, I'll probably start with one or two just so we can try it and see what that see the advantages before we start spending the rest of the money on those rest of those sites. Because theoretically speaking, it's all antiquated equipment. Best guess is the extra gain of adding an antenna should give us the extra distance we're looking for. But with that Hydra report, we can also figure out the best positioning, the best angles, and hopefully get us the biggest bang for that dollar spent. So we're in a position we can't afford to waste any more money when it comes to our radio project. It's obvious to me that we need to make progress sooner than later and as much as we possibly can with what we got. So yeah, that's why I'm trying to get as many different options and avenues to look at so we can make an educated decision before we pull the trigger on what it is we're spending. So.
And then one last question for you, Nathan, on the subject of antennas, with our microwave backbone being considered one of those antenna systems. has there been any consideration for shields over the microwave antennas for ice? And or heaters on those microwaves? I know we don't get a lot of ice storms, but we have had outages in the past because, you know, ice has fallen on top of the microwave, which knocked it out of alignment, or there was so much ice over the shield because there's no heater built into it. It causes signal issues. Is that something that can be looked at too, if it isn't already being looked at?
I added the note to make sure we ask, but I came from a district where every year we had ice damage to our links because of no shields and stuff. So I made sure to make a note on here to make sure we ask and double check for that because you are correct. We would rather pay for it and not have to use it than pay for the damage after the fact. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Jeremy, out of curiosity, maybe Nate, if everything worked out, how long do you think it will take to actually maybe break ground and start moving forward?
On the end,
It's hard to.
so, we're looking, depending on who we purchase through. So some companies have a much quicker return, some don't. I think like Day Wireless right now, their lead time's roughly 3 months, 90 days to get antenna, those kind of things. The base radios are going to take a little longer, which is another downside to going that route. So with antenna equipment, I've seen them 90 days, maybe 120 days from purchase to arrival. And then it's just getting them scheduled to get installed. And that being said, that relies on the amount of pressure we put on Day Wireless to get them installed. So, we could easily, late spring probably, or early spring, see an installation on on those antennas if we can get moving on it. So,
Thank you, sir.
yeah, absolutely.
Anything else for?
All right. One-on-ones. I've completed all my one-on-ones with my staff to work on in-house priorities. I've met with most of my police departments now, working on scheduling my fire department one-on-ones. I've had a couple of those with you guys. It's important for me to sit down, one, to get to know you, give you a chance to know me, ask questions, so you guys can be invested in what we're doing here. And also I can hear from you guys, your specific concerns and stuff you have weighing on you from your agencies. And then grant writing. We want to be super competitive in the grant market. So I've gotten offers from Scappoose Fire, Emergency Management to help us weigh our way through the grant writing process and administering. I'm also working on getting all my admin staff grant writing training. That's money that I don't want to see us losing the chance to get our hands on. Certainly the position we're in, any money I can get from the state or the feds is a benefit to us in the long run. So other than that, that's pretty much, that's what I got for you.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Next is roundtable.
No comment.
Thanks, Greg.
No sense. Somewhere. We have a CRD that is almost in service. And for those that don't know what a CRD is, you probably heard the term of a cow or cell on wheels. We have a very compact unit that we just throw on a trailer hitch. We can pretty much deploy anywhere, and it'll create a 2-mile bubble of cell service where cell service doesn't exist or cell service needs to be expanded.
2 mile?
Yeah.
Which carrier?
I'm sorry?
Which carrier?
AT&T. And we have 2 ways of doing the data and the voice. So we have a backup. Starlink is one side. We don't have an account yet for the VersaSat, which is the what do they call it? The low Earth orbit, or not low Earth orbit. It's it's the geosynchronous one. So it's like a satellite 180 miles off the ground, and it gives us a dedicated public safety link. Sounds super complicated. It's literally push button. We can drop this thing off and it'll run for 24 hours as long as you remember to put fuel in the gen set. All the radio equipment is climate controlled, and down the road we may look at adding T-Mobile and Verizon SIM cards for the Cradle Point. So at least when folks are around the unit, it doesn't matter what cell service you have, you'll be able to access the network. But if you have a big incident or event, or you think that you may need additional communication for data or for cell phone, we got this piece of equipment through the Spire grant process, which is the state preparedness incident response equipment. We'll take it anywhere. So the one caveat is that there are some fees. So if you do need it deployed, you're looking at a minimum of like, I shouldn't say minimum, a maximum of about $200 for the use of the unit for a month, basically. And that covers the $165 fee for Starlink for unlimited data. And then I think the network charge is $50 a month for unlimited cell stuff. So we've got everything set up so that I think we pay $5 a month for the Starlink and 78 cents a month just to keep the account open for the cell service side. So it, like, we're going to eat that cost. We're just saying, if you need it, like, we shouldn't have to pay for everything. Just want to put that out up front.
Thanks, Chief. Anyone else?
Who's got 2 people starting academy today, bring our numbers up to 10. And Saturday, I'm working with Mr. Corey over there for us to do our CERT presentation, try to bring that to Columbia County for Scappoose area. And once we get our members hopefully filled up, we'll work on a comms plan, how that would look, and incorporating them into our system. So that's all I have for our little city.
Thanks, Chief. Anybody else? Like a tomb in here.
All right, and actually, just real quick, I forgot to mention public outreach. I'm gonna try to be as present as I can for any safety fairs, those kind of things. So if you guys have anything going on in your community that you would like for us to attend or think it would be advantageous for me to attend, please let me know. I'll be out, and I believe it's the Health and Safety Fair this weekend. I'll be out there, or on the 4th, I'll be out there for a few hours. So if anything comes up, please let me know. The more I can get our name out into the community, the better right now. So please keep me in the loop if you guys got stuff that comes up. I'd love to partake and be visible and answer questions if need be.
Thanks, sir. Any announcements? No? Okay, if we have it, we can adjourn. Our next meeting is October 28th of 2025. Anybody have anything else really go to the order before we adjourn? Okay.
Thanks for
Thank you, guys.
stepping up and.
Yeah, thanks for
Yeah,
not.
one person.
Oh, I'll wait. We'll go to public health. Now